to the Nourish 2020 Cafe. This is the first of a series of videos that are going to look at the basic preparations that we do. If we can look down first of all, what we've got on the tray here are some basic ingredients. We've got some garlic cloves, we've got some ginger, we've got some onions, these are white onions, we've got some standard red and green chilies, and here are some bird's eye red and green chilies from Thailand. These are quite mild, these are quite fiery. We'll talk about the health and safety warnings of using these later, and not touching your eyes, etc., because these are fiery, these ones. So what we've got here are some basic ingredients that we use almost daily at the 2020 Caf. So the idea here is that instead of every day people peeling, chopping, slicing, pureeing these vegetables, what we actually do is we have containers made up, and they have a puree of garlic or a puree of ginger, puree of chilli, puree of onion in it. Be preserved by using sunflower oil or vegetable oil. A neutral flavoured oil helps the RoboCoupe, which is this machine here, it helps it spin round so that you get a good puree, but also the oil helps preserve. Okay, I'll clear the desk and we'll get a chopping board and we'll start preparing these. Okay guys, welcome back. We're making some purees here, and what we've got is some garlic, ginger, onions and chilies. So these are mise en place, this is to put in place. So these are basic preparations that we'd use, and from these we can make a lot of dishes. I'll give you an idea later of where these can go, and actually within these series of videos we're going to make some curry pastes, we're going to make some chutneys, we're going to do some different pieces with these. But to start, first of all, let's get on and prep them. So the RoboCoupe, the machine over here that we're going to use to make the puree, that will accept whole cloves of garlic. So very straightforward with the garlic, you need to just get on and peel it. Okay, so take yourself a clove of garlic. My view on this, you can give it a little crush under your hand, small knife, through the root, cut to there, and then peel back, and then just continue round. I know some people soak the garlic to make it wet, and that keeps the skin together. This is quite dry, so it's a bit flaky. Different strokes for different folks. For me, that'll do. So we're going to peel, we'll get through maybe 10 heads of garlic every 3 or 4 days here. We're quite heavy on garlic, it's good for nutrition, it's great for flavour. Lots of garlic, you can cut down on the salt content because you've got all these base flavours in there. We're also not having to buy in preserved garlic, which is in a salty oil. So again, we're doing this because it's good value, it's good skills, and it's good nutrition. So the garlic, very straightforward, we peel it. With the ginger, it's a very fibrous root to this, and so with this we'd need to chop it up. So peeling it, again using the small knife, my view of it, just run the small knife, and over time you get practiced at not wasting too much. Follow the shape of the ginger. This is a key skill for chefs, to be able to use a little paring knife to go round following the shape of whatever it is they're peeling. So there we go, you can see I've wasted very little. You could, if you were in a place where maybe in the summer I would use that and I'd boil it up and I'd make a lemon, honey and ginger drink, and we'd sell that as a jug of drink that customers help themselves to. So there's good flavour in the skin. For us, for this puree, we want the skin off. So very fibrous. So what I would say, don't put it in great big pieces into the RoboCoupe. When you're going to put it in, just go through it and roughly chop it. Just gives the helping hand to the machine. You're not asking too much from it. So roughly chopped, and that's ready to be pureed. With the onions, very straightforward. Peel. These are white, obviously you could use red, you could use shallots. Peel it, top and tail it, and then again, just don't put it in whole because it's asking a lot from the RoboCoupe to puree that. So just go through and roughly chop it. and that will go into the Robo Coupe. Okay, and the last one here comes with a health warning. Let's have a look at these chilies. So these are fairly mild. These are from the capsicum family and are fairly mild. I couldn't find the name of these, unfortunately, so we're going to look at them as a sort of standard red and green chilli that we recognise in this country. Quite mild, but still would really hurt if they got into your eye, so be careful with this. Okay, so for this chilli puree, I'm taking the top off and then I'm going through the middle, okay? Now it's the seeds that hold most of the heat. So depending on what your client group, who are your customers? If you were serving food in a Thai restaurant, you'd definitely use those chilli seeds. Whereas for our customers, they want flavour, but they don't want to be, they don't want their socks knocked off. So what I'm saying here is get a spoon, take the chilli in your hand, and then just draw down, and you can scrape the seeds out. Just do that again for you. Hold the chilli in your hand, draw down, you could use a teaspoon, just draw down, and there we have the chilli ready to go into the Robo Coupe. I will just say one thing about especially these ones. These are fiery. These are quite high up the scale. They're certainly not the hottest chilli in the world, but they are a fiery chilli. And so the health warning here is to make sure that you recognise that the chopping board, the knife, your hands are all now going to have chilli juice on them, and that is actually quite dangerous. It's certainly a sensitive part of your body. If we think about sensitive parts of your body, I'll take a moment to think about a couple of sensitive parts of your body. One would especially be your eyes. Be careful. Don't use this equipment again for anything like salad or fruit. Give it a wash, get all that juice off, okay? So with these ones, it's a little bit more tricky because of the size of them, but again, we can go through, and again, this would probably be the wrong spoon for it, but you can see what I'm saying here. We draw down and take the chilies out. You could dry these chilies in an oven, a low oven overnight. Stick them on some greaseproof paper, dry them out overnight, and then you'd have dried chilies whenever you wanted some dried chili flakes. Lots of fun to be had. So we've got this, the Robo Coupe will happily chop through that, so we don't really need to take it any further. I'm going to show you how to make a green chili paste because that's what I've already prepared. I'd argue not to mix the two because they discolour a little bit, they go a bit sort of a little bit brown if you mix the two together. So make a green, make a red and keep them separate. Okay, I'll just clear this away and we'll get the Robo Coupe over. Okay guys, here we are, we're making our garlic puree. It's exactly the same principle for each of them, the onion, the ginger and the chilli. So I'm only going to show you the garlic. So if we can focus down onto the Robo Coupe here, it's a good piece of kit to have. It's got a good safety measure put in place so that you can't chop your fingers off. So let's put it together. So the unit sits in and then that clicks in place. Then the blade has an angle there and it fits in there, so that will sit straight on. And then I'm happy and confident to press this button and it won't come on because there's a series of magnets in the middle and they must be lined up. If they're not, it won't start, as you can see. So then the top needs to go on and then it will start, okay? Okay, so with this, just for ease, I've got my garlic, I peeled it a couple of hours ago, so just to stop it from drying out, I've already put it into the sunflower oil. So that's going to go straight in. I'm not adding any salt to this. Some people might, and it may well preserve it for longer. I'm not adding any salt to it. I want to season my food at the last minute when needs be, and I don't want all of these purees to be salty. Otherwise you're adding salt at every level. And my view on this, and disagree with me as you see fit, but my view is that reducing salt's got to be good. So what we're going to say is the less salt that are in these sort of purees, the less salt is going to be in your finished dish. Okay, so no salt, just sunflower oil and garlic. Lid on, very easy. Step away, let it do its job. We'll have a little look. Stop it. Have a look. The reason for looking, it pushes some of the product up the sides here. So if we have a look, this is beautifully pureed, but in there somewhere, and now I'm not going to find it, but in there somewhere was a decent sized bit of garlic. And so all I'm saying to you, every so often, push it down from the sides, lid back on, and rerun it. So it makes sure it gets those last bits that went up the side. Okay, so I've got a clean kilner jar. These are the ones that we use. The reason we use these, we bring them out in the morning when we're doing our prep, and we can actually leave them up on the counter so the customers can see what we're doing. They're quite attractive, and it's a nice sales pitch really. It's telling people that we are using fresh ingredients. It's a good sales pitch for the food that we do. So these are quite pretty, rather than a dirty old plastic box that you might have in your fridge. These are nice, they look nice. So all I'm doing here, take the blade out, slide that in, blade out of the way. Garlic puree. Okay guys, here we are. Let's remember what we're doing here. We're making our life easy whilst being able to give our customers good quality food, fresh food. So what we've got here is garlic puree, onion puree, ginger puree and green chilli puree. And these are some basics that are so useful to have around. I'm sure already spinning around in your minds are different things you can do with these. All of these are going to make a soup with sweet potatoes. You take some garlic, you take some onions, ginger, a little bit of chilli, sweet potatoes, simmer it on the stove, and you've got yourself a beautiful soup. You could season that further with something like cumin. There's a video on the platform which is a spicy ginger soup, which has got sweet potatoes. Beautiful. All of these basics are in there. Let's a bit closer to home for me and think about maybe Italian food. There's your garlic puree, your onion puree. It's going to immediately mean you can make up a tomato sauce very quickly. I'm going to do a video on that a bit later. When you go to India and you think about your Indian food, these are their basic ingredients that you will find in almost all basic curry recipes. So again, instead of having a chef stood there peeling and chopping chilies first thing in the morning, you go to the fridge and you pull that out and it's ready for you. One thing I will say about this green chilli is that I did add a little bit of salt to this just to help puree it. When I put it into the RoboCoupe, because I've only made a small amount, there's 10 chilies there, I've actually ended up putting a little bit of salt, which is an abrasive, and it's helped the machine spin round and helped it puree. So just so that you know how I've achieved that. So I'm going to take these and we're going to make some videos, and these are going to be useful to you, but I think very much what I'm encouraging you is to learn the basic skills of how to peel and chop, how to use the machinery, how to store the food safely, and then you can start from this spinning off, making up beautiful dishes, lots of flavour and lots of ease to it. So yeah, hopefully that's been useful. Garlic puree, onion puree, ginger puree, chilli puree. Enjoy!